Something wicked this way comes. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Toast Hammer. As I mentioned last time, I am working on designing my own game, a TTRPG or tabletop role-playing game, if you're unfamiliar. I've gotten to playtest it with a couple of different groups of people at this point in time. People seem to really enjoy it and are having a lot of fun with it. So I'm really trying to get stuff hammered out because my goal is to release it with a couple of addendum things, not only the core rules, but an introduction adventure and a full adventure alongside of that in November of this year. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And luckily, I'm getting to the point in that process. A lot of it so far was just writing stuff in Google Docs, which is not super fun to make videos about. But I'm getting to the point in the process where we can start doing fun stuff that is interesting to watch, hopefully, and enjoy. So let me just tell you a little bit about this project, where it began, what it's about, as I am designing sort of the cover logo for the core rulebook. So let's get right into that. So this game I'm designing is entitled The Game of Contracts. If you are familiar with sort of legal jargon, it is a phrase kind of related to that profession. This is kind of taking it in a different direction, though. This is a Victorian era role-playing game using the Powered by the Apocalypse framework. If you're familiar with that, it's an extremely simple game system to learn. You only need 2d6 dice to play it, and everything is kind of resolved by rolling those 2 dice and adding them together and figuring out if you succeed, or you kind of succeed, or you don't succeed. And that's the basic math of it, which is really nice to have as a basis as a designer. I don't have to do that much actual math to figure out proper balance and things of that nature. I can just kind of grab that system, which will work towards my ends, and adapt it for the style of play that I want to share with everybody. So, set in Victorian England, powered by the apocalypse, and in the late Victorian era, there was a lot of interest sort of culturally with occult mysticism, alchemy, things of that nature. There was sort of a resurgence in mystical practices and occult rituals, and that is sort of the side of things that I am delving into with this game. Exploring the question of, well, what if those were actually kind of happening below the surface? Think a little bit like Vampire the Masquerade, in that there's like shadow organizations and things like that. But the thing about these occult rituals and things is that they're very poorly understood and dangerous to try and carry out, and not always or even frequently leading to the expected or desired results, which is why they're still secret. If magic were easy and plentiful, well, then anyone would be able to do it, and that wouldn't be very much of a game. But this system is kind of why I'm choosing Powered by the Apocalypse as the core, because to sort of offset the complexity in crafting these rituals and magical effects, which is a core sort of pillar of the gameplay, is sort of discovering the mysteries between how magic functions and crafting your own spells. That is kind of offset by the simplicity of the Powered by the Apocalypse system in the day-to-day rules of doing your skill checks and things like that. There are only 5 sort of so-called capabilities in the game: Force, Finesse, Think, Notice, and Consort, which are, you know, less of like what you can do and more how you would approach a problem or an obstacle. to try and solve it. So it's more how your character might be thinking about the world, rather than like what their actual, how strong they are physically or something like that. In addition to that, there's a couple of other modifiers you can apply to roles. If you have a good relationship with someone else, you can try to help them. Otherwise, tidbits of your backstory or your experiences during the game can give you some contextual benefits called learnings, lifted pretty much directly from Daggerheart. I really like how they handle their, I think they're called experiences over there. I decided to name it something different to separate it from experience points. I'm trying to make this very easy for people to pick up and play, even if they have no experience with tabletop games. So although stuff like experience points might make sense to you and me as perhaps veteran game players, my retiree parents don't know what that means. So it's important to have that kind of separation of language so that people aren't getting one thing confused with another. But anyway, I'm sort of developing this entire world, pulling on a lot of sort of real life influences along the way, sort of the dark academia of the late Victorian period, paired with sort of the industrialization happening at the time, and sort of the pre-World War I era, which is kind of leaving Victorian a little bit. We're at the tail end of the Victorian era here, at least for this initial adventure that I'm writing. And it's basically dealing with a bunch of these sort of shadowy occult organizations. Some of them are, trying to do good things with their abilities, and others perhaps a little bit more selfishly driven, shall we say. And our heroes, unaware of all of this to start things out, are quickly sucked into a world of creepiness and magic and mystique, and they have to, learn how to swim or drown, basically. There's a lot more to talk about. I want to release this game for a pretty cheap, affordable price. I want to make the core rules free for anybody to pick up and play. There's going to be a separate GM's rulebook that I think might cost like a little bit of money, but probably not that much. Because I don't really believe in charging players to play your game. First of all, they're not going to buy it anyway. They're just going to get the PDF from the game master or whoever is running the game. So I figure I'll just give it out for free anyway. There's no reason to charge for something that no one's going to buy. So yeah, that's going to be free, and I'm pretty dead set about that. But the Game Master's book, which has a lot of the sort of the secret information in it about how spellcraft works and things like that, I do want to charge a little bit for, just because, first of all, I don't want every player to know how all the systems work. You're kind of supposed to discover it through play. There's not really like a level up system in this game. The leveling up happens through player creativity and depth of knowledge as they interact with this magic system, where I'm hoping that something will kind of be an emergent level up through like player expertise and creative thinking rather than gaining experience points. Although there are experience points in the game, those are used for more of your usual RPG type of things. So there's going to be a lot more to come on this in the future. This logo I'm designing has its own sort of lore attached to it through the one of the major factions in this first adventure, the one that the players are on the side of. And I'm trying to make everything kind of reminiscent of real symbology and mystical imagery without actually trampling on real life ideas and beliefs, which is a fine line to tread and requires doing a lot of research. So I hope I'm hitting the mark there, because if not, that could be pretty bad for your boy if I accidentally offend a bunch of people. So working hard to come up with evocative imagery which isn't tied to any particular belief system But also allowing for that to happen if players want to include that in the game as well. You know, it's all about comfort levels and things like that. We're all just trying to have fun at the table. But let me know what you guys want to hear about in regards to me making this game. There's a lot of stuff to do, and there's a lot of cool things that I still need to work on. NPC illustrations, book layouts, stuff of that nature. There's a lot of sort of like graphic design and illustration work that needs to be done if you're interested in seeing that. Or maybe I just do it in like sort of a less of a structured way, some sort of like dev diary or something. If you have a good idea for like the type of video you want to see in regards to this, let me know in the comments below, because I'm genuinely a little bit unsure about how to best present this project, because it's a pretty big departure from what this channel is normally known for, and I don't want to like just alienate everybody. Maybe I do this on alternating weeks when I'm not doing hobby projects or something like that. Weekly release schedule, you know, could happen. Or I do bigger hobby projects like once a month, keep the every 2 week schedule and work on this every 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be good. I might try a couple of different things. We'll see. But November of this year, get ready, because I'm pretty excited about this, and I'm genuinely, like, I haven't felt this motivated to consistently work on something in quite a while. So I hope you'll join me on this journey, and if you have other friends who are interested in tabletop RPGs, especially indie productions, please let them know about this. Because I'm not anyone. I don't have a social platform outside of this. So please spread the word that this is happening. But if you do want to support me on this project, please give the video a like. As always, it always helps me out, especially when I'm embarking on something new and strange and exciting like this. And please subscribe to the channel if you want more updates on this game, because I'm really excited to get them to you guys. And I'll see you later. Peace.